Yo, my name is Sebastian. Ça va là. So I decided to summarize Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki because I really liked the book and I thought that whoever's watching my videos might like it too. So I divided the summary into two different videos. This week, in this video, I'll talk about the 6 different lessons that Robert learned from his rich dad. Let's get started. In school, they teach us to study hard so we could find a good job, and that's what we do. I mean, whether we find a good job or not, we're trying to find a job so we could start making money. But once the money starts coming in, most people are controlled by 2 different emotions, and that's fear and greed or desire. Now that you have an income, you start having expenses. You now have bills and living expenses, but because your job is your only source of income, you can't stop working because the bills got to be paid. You decide to work harder or look for another job so you can make more money. And the more money you make, the more expenses you have because now you can't afford it, right? Maybe now you go to bars and restaurants and movies more often. Maybe you take a couple of trips, a couple of vacations a year, and then you buy a car because there's no way you're taking public transportation anymore. Then you meet someone and decide to get married and get a big house and start a family. What was that? You don't have enough money to furnish the house? Put that on a credit card and pay it over time. Now the fear of not having a job and not being able to keep up with all your bills keeps you working, and the desire to keep buying more stuff because you're never satisfied and you make more money and you work hard so you deserve it, it keeps you from saving and investing. Now you get into that cycle where you go to work, you get a paycheck, you spend it, and you can never advance financially. That's called the rat race, and that's a trap a lot of people find themselves in. You feel trapped at work because of your spending habits and trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you learn how to control your emotions and manage your finances and learn how to make your money work for you, then over time you can escape that trap. The lack of financial education is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now, one of the most important rules to know, or the number one rule to know, is understanding the difference between an asset and a liability and focus on buying assets. So any investment that you have that's giving you a return, or any business that you own that's making you money, is considered an asset. So you could consider things like real estate, stocks, mutual funds, commodities, or a car wash business that you have. If it's making you money, then it's an asset. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. So anything that you keep paying for that doesn't give you anything back, like a credit card that you don't pay in full and you keep paying interest on, or a car or a house that's not making you any money, but you keep paying for it every month. So if money is leaving your pocket because of something, that thing is a liability. If you really think about it, is a pet a liability? Is a kid? Now these definitions are just definitions. They're not telling you to not buy a house or not get a pet or not have kids. We all have what we're comfortable with and what makes us happy. Just know that there are liabilities, so make sure that your job and your assets are able to cover those costs. Most people focus on their income statement, so the money that they get from their job. So they're constantly working to keep the job, or they're trying to find another job or trying to get a raise. He explains that by only focusing on your job, then you'll be working for the owner or shareholders of that company, making them rich, and then you'll be working for the government because you got to pay taxes, and the more money you make, the more taxes they take from you. And then you'll be working for the bank, paying back those credit cards and paying that mortgage. Instead, you should work for yourself and mind your own business by building and maintaining strong assets. You can keep working at your job and work harder to make more money, but live below your means and invest the difference in your assets to make your money work for you. Over time, your assets will make enough money to cover your living expenses, and then at that time, you're officially out of the rat race. In the past, there were no taxes. The government will sometimes collect taxes to pay for wars like the Civil War in the 1860s. Income tax became permanent in the US in 1913 when it was voted in by the masses when they were told that it would only punish the rich. But once the government got a taste of money and their appetite grew, it trickled down to the middle class and the poor. But the rich outsmarted the system and used the power of corporations to pay little to no taxes. Now, a corporation is not like a big building or anything like that. It's just a legal document that they use to put their assets in to protect their money. Their income tax rate is less than that of an individual. And on top of that, within the corporation, certain expenses can be paid before you pay taxes, so you're taxed on whatever is left. So expenses like a car or restaurants, anything that could be put into business expenses. But the expenses really have to be for business. So unlike everybody else, the rich don't just sit there and let the government take all their money. So they hire smart people like attorneys or accountants to find or create legal loopholes so they could keep their money. So it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you could keep. He means the rich create opportunities and make deals happen. So we all have tremendous potential, but self-doubt and a lack of self-confidence just hold us back. In the real world, it's not the smart that get ahead, but the bold. The one that take action and go for it. If the fearful side of you is too strong, then it will suppress the genius side. To be successful, you need both financial knowledge and courage. Financial intelligence is basically having more options. It's finding ways to take advantage of an opportunity or to create one. It's how creative you are in finding solutions. Don't just go to work and tell yourself that you're waiting for the right time or the right opportunity. Just go out there and make it happen. The most powerful assets that we all have, that's our mind. And if it's trained well, we could do amazing things. You need to have a strong financial foundation, which starts with a strong financial education made up of these 4 technical skills. Number 1, that's financial literacy, the ability to read and understand numbers. Number 2, that's investing, and that's money making money. Number 3, that's the market, the art of supply and demand. And number 4, that's law, awareness of legal rules and regulations. It's the combination of these technical skills that's needed to be successful in the pursuit of wealth. Most workers, they work hard enough just to not get fired. And most employers, they pay just enough so that the workers won't quit. And that's why a lot of people don't advance in their field. So they only see or they only working for the benefits and the paycheck, and they do the minimum required and they don't look ahead. He says to not just go to work for the paycheck, but to also go to learn about systems and improving your skills, especially specialized skills like communications, sales, marketing, and management. Seek to learn more than you earn. So rich people, they work to learn and not for job security. So if you're able to learn and master those skills, then you have a strong foundation and be able to build wealth. So there you have it. It was very hard to try to summarize the book in just a short video. There's a lot that I left out. There's just a ton of good information and good advice. And the concept are explained so much better in the book. So if you haven't read it yet, definitely pick it up. You won't regret it. That's all I got for today. If you think this video was helpful, share it or tag a friend or leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.